Most riders think group rides are where the real fun happens. But if you've ever come back feeling oddly drained, you're not imagining it. There's a hidden reason your best rides never feel the same in a group. Today, we're breaking down why science says riding solo might be the ultimate mental advantage. And here's the catch. If you ignore what we uncover by the time we reach the number one, you might be unknowingly turning every ride into a less enjoyable, more stressful experience without even realizing it. Number 8, social pressure overrides natural behavior. This is the one that doesn't announce itself. It creeps in, then quietly takes control. At first, group rides feel alive. Engines in sync, movement that feels shared. It looks like freedom, but something subtle begins to change. You stop riding on instinct. And this isn't just a feeling. It's supported by findings from the European Journal of Sports Science, where riders in group settings showed reduced individual performance compared to riding alone. Think about that. More people, more energy, yet less precision from you. Because your decisions stop coming from within. Instead of reading your breathing, your limits, your rhythm, you start adjusting to others. Matching speed, holding pace, following lines that aren't yours. You push longer than you should. You ignore signals your body is sending. You ride in a way that feels slightly off, but you keep going. And over time, that natural connection fades. What once felt smooth becomes forced. What once felt controlled becomes reactive. Without realizing it, you're no longer riding your own ride. You're adapting to someone else's. And that quiet shift, it slowly drains the satisfaction out of every mile. If you've ever felt that subtle pressure to ride faster or differently just to keep up, this is exactly the kind of insight most riders overlook. So hit that like button, drop a hype, and subscribe. That's what keeps us digging into the hidden psychology behind riding, not just the surface level stuff everyone else repeats. And if that wasn't enough, the next one starts affecting something even more critical, what you fail to notice when it matters most. Number 7, constant comparison reduces enjoyment. The moment you join a group ride, the focus shifts, not in your hands, not in your throttle, in your mind. You stop judging the ride by how it feels and start judging it by where you stand. Psychology has understood this for decades. Leon Festinger called it social comparison theory, the natural tendency to measure yourself against others. Now bring that into a ride. Every straightaway becomes a test. Every corner feels observed. Every slowdown feels like failure. And the research confirms it. Studies in the Journal of Sports Sciences show that constantly comparing yourself to stronger riders lowers enjoyment and weakens internal motivation. In plain terms, the more you compare, the less you enjoy. And it doesn't stop at performance. You start noticing machines, gear, setup. That rider pulls ahead. Maybe it's skill, or maybe it's that high-end build from Trek Bicycle Corporation or Specialized Bicycle Components. Now doubt creeps in. Maybe it's not your riding, maybe it's your bike. And just like that, the experience changes. What once felt personal becomes competitive. What once felt freeing starts feeling evaluated. Instead of asking, did I enjoy this ride? You start wondering, did I measure up? That shift is where the damage happens. Because the moment riding becomes a comparison, it stops being yours. Comparison might seem like an internal issue, something that only affects confidence or ego, but it doesn't stay in your head for long. The moment your focus turns toward other riders, how fast they are, how smooth they look, your attention is no longer fully on the road. And that split focus creates a much more immediate consequence. Because when your awareness is shared between performance and perception, the next breakdown happens in the one place you can't afford it, your ability to read the ride itself. Number 6, divided attention increases risk. This is where it stops being mental and starts becoming physical. Because the moment you ride in a group, your attention gets pulled in different directions. Not just the road ahead, but the rider in front, the one beside you, hand signals, lane shifts, sudden speed changes. Your brain is no longer locked onto one clear task. It's juggling everything at once. And that's where the problem begins. Research from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows that divided attention slows reaction time and increases mistakes, even in highly trained individuals. Now imagine that on 2 wheels. At highway speeds, a single second of delay means you've already covered dozens of feet without full awareness. In a group, that delay doesn't stay isolated, it stacks. Findings published in Accident Analysis and Prevention reveal that riders in close formations face higher collision risk due to delayed hazard detection, and narrowed vision. In simple terms, you notice less and respond later. And here's the deeper truth. Your brain isn't actually multitasking. It's switching rapidly, constantly. Every shift costs you precision. Every distraction chips away at control. One missed detail, one late reaction. That's all it takes. Because riding isn't just about movement, it's about awareness. And when your attention is split, your margin for error disappears. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever caught yourself paying more attention to the riders around you than the road ahead? Be honest. Drop it in the comments, because real-world experiences like yours tell us far more than theory ever could, and they help other riders see what they might be missing too. Losing full awareness changes more than just safety. It slowly changes how you interact with the ride altogether. When your attention is tied to the group, your decisions stop being your own. You're no longer reacting to the road instinctively. You're reacting to the formation, the pace, the expectations around you. And that subtle shift builds into something bigger, because once your decisions are no longer independent, the next thing to disappear isn't focus, it's freedom. Number 5, loss of freedom and personal control. This one cuts deeper than most riders expect, because riding at its core is supposed to feel like freedom. No fixed plan, no outside pressure, no one calling the shots, just you, your machine, an open road ahead. But the moment you roll into a group, that freedom starts to tighten. Your pace, set by others. Your route, already chosen. Your stops, decided for you. Even your effort begins to follow a pattern that isn't yours. And psychology explains why that matters. The American Psychological Association highlights autonomy, the sense of being in control, as a key driver of motivation and well-being. Take that away, and satisfaction drops fast. This idea is reinforced by the work of Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, who showed that autonomy is essential for maintaining genuine engagement. But in a group ride, that control gets replaced. You want to ease off, but the pace continues. You want to take a different road, but the plan is fixed. You want to ride by feel, but the rhythm is external. So instead of choosing, you start following. And over time, that shift changes something important. Because when the ride stops being yours, it stops feeling like freedom. And when freedom starts to fade, most riders notice it in their choices, where they go, how fast they ride, when they stop. But the deeper impact isn't just physical, it's mental. Every adjustment you make to stay aligned with the group adds another layer of processing in the background. Timing, spacing, signaling, reacting, it all stacks. And as those layers build, they lead directly into the next and most overlooked issue, where the ride stops feeling simple and starts feeling mentally crowded. Number 4, mental overload blocks true enjoyment. This is where everything comes together, because riding was never just physical. It was meant to feel effortless, almost meditative. But in a group, that simplicity disappears. Think about what your mind is handling every second. Tracking speed changes, watching a rear tire just feet ahead, listening for calls and signals, shifting position constantly, reading movement from every direction. That's not freedom, that's overload. And neuroscience explains exactly what happens next. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that the brain has limited cognitive capacity, and when that limit is pushed, your ability to stay present and feel enjoyment drops sharply. In simple terms, the busier your mind becomes, the less you actually experience the ride. This directly disrupts something critical: flow state. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described flow as total immersion, where action and awareness merge into one seamless experience. But that only happens when attention is undivided. No noise, no pressure, no overload. Group riding breaks that. Studies in frontiers in psychology confirm that higher mental load during physical activity reduces both enjoyment and perceived performance. So even when you ride well, it doesn't feel right. And over time, that disconnect grows. Because when your mind is crowded, you're no longer inside the ride, you're managing it. And that's the moment everything changes. Once the ride becomes mentally crowded, something important gets lost. Not just enjoyment, but the mental space that makes riding feel effortless in the first place. And that raises a bigger question. What happens when all of that noise is removed completely? Because when you strip away pressure, comparison, coordination, and constraint, you're not just changing the ride, you're changing how the brain operates within IT. And that's exactly where the next section takes us, into what science reveals about solo riding and the brain itself. And so far, we've broken down pressure, comparison, and the mental overload that builds inside group riding. So before we step into what happens next, tell us in the comments which one hits you the hardest. And while you're there, like the video and subscribe, because what comes next isn't opinion. It's what science reveals about your brain when you finally ride alone. When all that mental noise disappears, something unusual begins to happen. Not around you, but inside you. The constant calculations, the social awareness, the need to adjust, they go silent. And in that silence, riders often report something they can't fully explain. Time starts to blur, decisions feel automatic, and the ride stops feeling like effort altogether. That shift isn't just a feeling, it's measurable. And in the next answer, science steps in to explain exactly what your brain enters when you finally ride alone. Number 3, solo riding puts you into flow. This is where riding stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like something else entirely. Ever had a ride where everything just locked in? No overthinking, no distractions, just smooth automatic control. That state has a name, it's called flow. According to a study from BMC Sports Science, Medicine, and Rehabilitation, riders who enter flow during solo activity report something almost unbelievable. The ride feels easier, even when their bodies are working just as hard. Let that sink in. Your heart rate climbs, your muscles are engaged, but your brain, it stops resisting. That's not motivation, that's neurological alignment. Because when flow kicks in, your brain stops juggling noise and starts syncing perfectly with what your body's doing. And here's the trigger most riders miss. Flow needs space. No conversations pulling your attention, no adjusting to someone else's pace, no subtle pressure to keep up or hold back. Just you, the throttle, and a rhythm that builds naturally, mile after mile. That's why solo rides can feel almost addictive. Now stack that against group riding. You're constantly adapting, watching mirrors, reading body language. You're engaged, but you're not immersed. And that difference matters more than most riders realize. Because once you've experienced true flow, everything else starts to feel slightly out of sync. That state of deep focus feels powerful, almost addictive, but it raises a deeper question. If your mind can become that clear, that efficient, that locked in, what is it actually escaping from? Because clarity like that doesn't appear out of nowhere. It replaces something. And what it replaces is far more physical than most riders realize. Beneath the surface, your body is constantly carrying tension, chemicals, stress signals you don't consciously notice until they're gone. Which brings us to the next step forward, where solo riding doesn't just sharpen the mind, it actively rewires how your body handles stress itself. Number 2, solo riding lowers stress at a chemical level. This is where riding stops being just a feeling and starts changing what's happening inside your body. Because solo riding doesn't just calm your mind, it actually shifts your biology. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine, steady aerobic movement, like riding, reduces cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone, while boosting serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals tied to mood, balance, and overall well-being. Sounds powerful already, but here's what most riders never consider. The environment determines how strong that effect becomes. A study in Frontiers in Psychology found that people exercising alone, especially in low-pressure, low-noise settings, experience significantly greater drops in stress levels compared to those in socially demanding situations. Think about that for a second. It's not just the ride doing the work, it's the absence of pressure. No need to match someone else's speed, no silent competition, no feeling watched or evaluated, and your brain picks up on that instantly. Researchers at Stanford University have also shown that chosen solitude, not isolation, but intentional time alone, helps regulate emotional responses and lowers physiological stress markers. Now combine that with riding, steady motion, open road, controlled breathing. You're not just relaxing, you're resetting. Now compare that to group rides. Even when they're fun, your brain is still working overtime, tracking riders, adjusting spacing, anticipating moves. That constant processing, it quietly keeps your stress response switched on. You might not feel it right away, but over time, it adds up. Do you like this video so far? Hit that like button, and if you want to support us even more, consider becoming a member. You'll get early access to the next breakdowns before anyone else, and trust me, the next one goes even deeper into how riding reshapes your mind. Lowering stress explains why solo riding feels calmer, lighter, almost therapeutic. But that still doesn't fully explain why so many riders come back from a solo ride thinking differently, clearer decisions, new ideas, problems that suddenly feel solvable. Because when stress drops, your brain doesn't just relax, it unlocks something. A deeper system starts to take over, one that isn't focused on reacting, but on connecting, reflecting, and creating. And that is where the next answer takes us, into the part of the brain that only fully activates when you're alone, and why that changes the way you think long after the ride is over. Number 1, solo riding sharpens your mind. This is where everything comes together, because solo riding doesn't just help you feel better, it changes how you think. According to research from Stanford University, people who move alone, something as simple as walking, can boost creative output by up to 60% compared to staying still. Now take that idea and put it on 2 wheels. Steady cadence, endless road, total immersion. That effect doesn't just transfer, it intensifies. Because what's really happening is this. Your brain shifts into a mode called the default mode network, the system responsible for reflection, insight, and problem solving. A study published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that this state becomes most active during repetitive movement with minimal distraction. And that's the key most riders overlook. This state needs space. No conversations breaking your focus. No constant input pulling your attention outward, just motion and thought. Now compare that to group riding. Your mind is locked on coordination, spacing, timing, reacting. Useful? Absolutely. But creative? Not even close. That's why your best ideas don't show up when you chase them. They show up when everything else goes quiet. And studies in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience confirm it. When physical movement combines with low mental interference, clarity, memory, and decision-making all improve. So those moments on a solo ride, when something finally clicks, that's not random. That's your brain operating at full capacity. And when you stack it all together, flow, lower stress, clear thinking, you start to realize something most riders never do. Riding alone isn't just freedom, it's optimization. And once you experience that level of clarity, you don't just ride differently, you think differently. And if this video changed how you see your own riding experience, the next one takes it even further. Tap the next video on your screen and keep the momentum going. Subscribe to stay ahead, and if you want early access before anyone else, become a member. And don't leave without hitting that like button. It tells us to keep bringing you what others miss.